All right, off we go. Another custom batch today. It's for a company, and we're going to make a cat.
A cute little kitten.
I think it represents their logo. They actually use it.
And this is the boiled sugar.
Sugar, water, glucose, boiled up to 155 degrees Celsius. And that'll be about 310 Fahrenheit. Don't know how much that is in Kelvin.
Nobody uses Kelvin anymore. And this is about 7 kilos, slightly more.
7, and with the glucose, it'll be around 9 kilos. So off to our table where we will mix in the colors. For this design, the customer requested a red, green, and black color, and the cat will be made in a black color as well. Thanks. Oh, and the flavor of the batch is strawberry, by the way.
And I saw you just mixing in the flavor in the pot.
Flavor goes in the kitchen, and the colors will go in on this table.
I'm just gonna show you how.
So you'll be doing the red, and I'll be doing green and black on this side.
So you could see when the color hits the hot surface of this candy, it actually starts to boil. That's the sizzling of the colors. Just gonna show you on the green side.
So it won't be our basic regular green. It looks more like a Christmas green, but with a slightly brown touch, in my opinion. And this is actually the most difficult part of making candy when the customer requests specific colors. We only have one shot. If we add too much color, it fails, but I think I pretty much...
I see you
hit it right away.
Looking to the side.
Maybe a little bit more brown.
That's because
It isn't
the color
it's so
reference is
helpful.
actually over here. So you can see on the inside it's a mock-up of the candy that we're about to make. So Kim is checking the colors.
I'm happy with the green. It's also important not to mix in too much or mix in too long, because that'll cause a crystallization effect. If we mess with the sugar too much, it will get mad.
So yeah, this is basically a puddle of molten sugar, but when you stir in too much or you use it in the wrong way, you can actually set in some crystals, and that will start a crystallization process that will go through the whole log of sugar or candy later on. And that actually is irreversible. So it once starts to crystallize, it actually will continue throughout the whole batch. And unless we remove that part of crystallized candy, we have a major issue because we cannot eat that part. I see you tapping the sugar.
It's about right. It's ready to add citric acid. It's very important not to add it too early because it will burn and give like a slightly bitter taste. So tapping the sugar is one way to see if it's cooled down enough. I think it's about right, so we can add the, yep. And together with the citric acid, we'll be adding the white color. And as most of our loyal followers already seen, it's a powder color. So we used to have, or we used to use a titanium dioxide, but that's banned since 2022, or in Europe at least. I think they still use it in other countries, but we don't, and we won't use it anymore here.
I think we're actually the first region in the world where we banned titanium dioxide for use in food. Mm-hmm.
Still a medication.
Still a medication because you don't eat that apparently.
Mm-hmm. But of course we take the loss, and it is what it is. Red. It's a nice red.
Always crazy to see how fast it actually sets.
Mm. It's also, yeah, it's actually the first batch of the day, so the table is still very cold. As you can see outside, it's winter time.
Winter
so
is
the
coming.
Overall temperature of the room is slightly cooler than, I'd say, in about 3 or 4 hours. So temperature is always our biggest friend and our biggest enemy at the same time. Just checking now how much of each color I need. So we need most of the black because we need to make the cats in black as well. But we also need to make sure that we have enough white to be able to pack the image. So the colors, the green, the red and the black will get stretched on the table, as you can see Ilse and Elke doing. It's just to take out the lumps and and make it like an even texture, consistency. The white will be pulled on the machine, and the machine will do about the same thing as they're doing, but 10 times faster and with 10 times more results. So here we will actually stretch in small air pockets to make the volume bigger and have the sugar have this nice white, bright shine to it.
So each time you pull and stretch and fold the candy, you actually bring in a little bit of air, and by doing so you can see the color slightly changing, but we still want this part to be black, so we won't stretch it too much. On the other hand, this part needs to be bright white. It still is kind of yellowish, and that's why we're heading to the pulling machine, sometimes nicknamed the arm breaker, because it's a
Arm
very
breaker.
dangerous machine.
But we have our lovely assistant Bentley here with her finger on the emergency stop.
You can see why it's
Very,
called the
very
white.
cautious.
We are trained professionals, so don't try this at home with your candy pulling machine yourself.
Yes, that'll do.
I sometimes see you use the metal hook to pull the white, and sometimes you use the machine. There's a big difference in there, or?
Well, we used to always use the hook to stretch whatever size of batch we'd make. But trust me, when you're making 6 or 7 batches a day, and as you can see, the job is physically pretty heavy, a machine to do the stretching comes in very handy.
So big batches go on the machine,
Smaller
batches
ones still go on the
still-
hook.
Okay.
And there we have our cat.
Which, of course, I did a little bit of research before we started this batch, and it's a little bit funny that we're making a cat out of candy because, according to a popular fact, cats are the only mammals considered not able to taste sweetness. So it's a little bit ironic.
It is. Ears. Head. Everything for the eyes. Yep. Snore hairs.
Whiskers. Sorry.
All right. So we'll start off with the whiskers. That has a specific reason why we start off with that part. As you can see in the picture, all of the parts are rounded, and it's more interesting to make like the pieces that can sit for a while. The rounded pieces always need to be kept in shape, and that's why we'll make those later on. So we'll start off with the whiskers and then probably the ears. Then we'll do the eyes.
So every part that you make, actually, when it's rounded, you have to keep in motion or in shape to keep that shape.
Mm-hmm.
And only straight pieces could lie on their sides or to rest.
Yeah.
So that's why you're always trying to end up with a rectangular or straight shape.
What? Knip? Yeah. So, 3 whiskers for each side of the head. And I'll just make 1 pair of whiskers, then stretch it and cut it into 2.
So we need 2 sets of whiskers, 2 times 3 are drawn on the image, but you only make 1 set, and let's say multiply that or copy that one. So we have an identical set of whiskers on each side.
So this will be the whiskers on the right side of the face. And by stretching and cutting this one into two, we actually basically do a copy paste and have the exact same whiskers for the other side of the head.
I'm glad we're not making a full-size model, because they actually have whiskers on the back of their front paws as well, so might get very complicated.
It'll be a bit too complicated to make in a candy.
And it's good that you have a left and a right set of whiskers, because another cat fact is that they are considered ambidextrous. So if a cat would be able to write its own name, it could write it with left or right.
What's the point of cats being ambidextrous?
I have no idea.
They just are.
I just provide the facts.
All right, so ears. And I'll do exactly the same thing. Make one ear, cool it down first a little bit. Don't make it too sharp. Triangle. Oh, and by wrapping it in the white pieces, we can build a square or rectangular shape, which will also help us to be able to put it aside and leave it to rest for a moment so we can work on the other parts. That's actually the main reason why we already do that at this stage.
And everybody on the team has his own dedicated job or function. And Elke and Ilse are now providing some blocks of white to support parts of the head or the pieces that Kim is making.
Okay.
So this is a team effort.
3 people making your candy. Sometimes we also have our cameraman coming in. So, one ear.
So you have to make it double the size that you actually want it to be, and then by stretching it, you're making it bigger, but also smaller in size, if that makes any sense. And then by cutting it in two, you have 2 identical parts.
Everything is done by look and feel. No measurements, no...
Yeah, there's no set dimensions or...
No.
So you only have the drawing of the logo.
And we only have our experience to rely on. Most of the time, that works out as planned. Sometimes does not. But I have a strong faith that will
Pull this one off.
Yes.
Okay, there's a little bit pressure because there's quite a crowd watching you. But
we're used to that.
Pretty confident that this might.
Been here for 12 years now. At this exact same window. That'll change, by the way.
Okay.
That was a teaser.
Some
Yeah, what is the
hot flash.
So that's already the pupil. Is that to say the exact word? Pupil in English. Yeah. Hallo. Kom erop.
So you can see the inner part of the eye with the white and the black in a round shape. And then Kim is preparing a little envelope or a little slab of black, very thin. You can almost see through it to make a little black edge around that eye.
Just to support the or make us so again 2 eyes. We'll cool these ones
So
to keep their shape.
That's a shape you cannot let it just sit on the table.
No, fortunately not. But in the meanwhile, Ilse and Elke are already providing the pieces to support the eyes, which will be made in a shape that will be possible to sit for a while. Eyes, so I'll go that way. So, and then we just keep rolling.
Oh, I see. So it looks like a multi-level playing field, but this is, we have to do multiple parts of the process all at once.
We used to only work with 2 people on batches, and like for some designs that would be more than enough. But if we're making the more complicated stuff like these ones, and this one is complicated, but I'd say the scale of complicatedness, I'd give it a 5 out of 10. Because it's still pretty straightforward.
It looks kind of complex, but it's made out of basic shapes.
Yeah.
Which makes it approachable. You have a way of conducting the way of process.
Yeah, good. The nose, cool that one. a bit more. And I think we have all of the pieces. Yeah. All right. Assembly time. Thanks.
So you have already all the pieces.
All the pieces are here. Now we're just going to complete our image. So yeah, nose will go in this space. That looks about right. Mr. Kitty Cat's chin. And then the head.
I don't want to look it straight in the eyes because one fun fact is that cats actually think that's threatening to them. So
if you look them straight in the eye?
Yes, I'm trying to avoid direct eye contact with it.
Hebben we genoeg? Hebben we genoeg zwart? Thank you. Going for one more extra layer of black to give the kitty cat a bit more volume. Yeah, and I'll start off with the chin. Where is your chin? Here it is. But I really like to have his eyes and yes, looks like pretty weird looking thing right now.
And it looks like, sorry for the lack of better words, it looks like a roadkill cat for now.
Talking about roadkill cats, you know the Belgian rock band Flat Cat?
And
You ever heard of them?
Not familiar with them, no.
They were looking for a band name, and they were driving around town, and they saw a cat that was
Flat cat.
Flat, yeah.
Okay. So they actually got their name from, inspired by roadkill.
Yes.
Okay. This is not a sponsored video. This is Flat Cat is not sponsoring us. We do not support
Flat cats.
Flattening cats.
Not sure really if Flat Cat still does things. All right. So I think we have all the parts. Yep. Just going to take off some white for the outside, and then once the cooling process is done, we'll be able to complete our center, our image. And have it wrapped in this white. It's always nice to have some white around the image because it brightens up the candy. Don't want it to be too much. Don't want it to be too little as well. There you go. No.
So all pieces are made. We just have some lumps left that will make the outside of the candy. But for the rest, we have what looks like a DIY building package of cat candy.
Cat candy making kit.
Actually, we know that
Ja, ik zou misschien...
cats.
Ah ja, oké. Ja, ofwel doe ik eerst het wit onder zijn kin dat hij ligt, dat hij in wit ligt.
Ja,
Ja, dat is nou raar, ja. Het is inderdaad... Oké. Alright, so first we'll go with the ears. Yeah. That's where the nose is.
Make sure it's oriented the right way.
Ilse, can you just hold this piece?
Indicating where the ears should go.
Ik kan zo eentje pakken. Wacht.
A little piece that will provide the space between the ears. And then we turn our cat over, belly side up.
Zo van. Ja, whiskers. Ja.
Zal ik hier nog zo even maken? Dat was zijn voorhoofd.
Knip hem inderdaad misschien in twee. Whiskers, go. Here. Maybe a bit too low.
Wrapping the head in pieces of white.
Die stuk heb ik ook die keer in.
Even when we have a planned approach, we still can add some in-between steps and we can alter the plan, as you could see.
Ja, misschien moet je hem in... Of in twee. Ja, doe hem gewoon in twee. Ik kan hem er zo over leggen. Zo. This way and this way.
So
There you go.
we have our round shape that will still get a little bit rounded more by alkane. They are popping some air bubbles that are trapped in the white.
Ik ga er niet meer bij doen. Het is al genoeg wit.
Those could cause big troubles when we try to
Yeah,
chop
no,
our
it's good.
candy later on.
Beetje zo'n val, hè?
Kom maar goed. Alright, final steps.
We still need an
Colors.
outside layer. That will
The outside layer and divided by some white pinstripes. 3 colors, so we need 3 white pinstripes.
that will give the candy its distinctive look on the outside. So when customers order a custom candy or a batch of candy, they can actually pick the colors themselves. So we can provide them with the colors that match their company colors or school sports team colors or whatever.
And we'll always do our best to match it as close as possible. Every color is mixed by hand, as you can see.
So you can see our cat rolling here. I cannot think of a bigger cat lover than Elke, so this cat is in very good paws.
We're having some issues with our red. The color is completely crystallized.
We might have mentioned it before, but sugar is always very vulnerable for crystallization. So I'm gonna try and show you our oopsie of the day. This is a live setting, so any accident can happen. And what you can actually see in this piece of sugar is that although it's a solid red, we can actually see some white speckles, pieces that are actually lumps of crystallized sugar. I can try to pull it out. And you can see this is one hard nugget of sugar. And this is a process that actually sets in due to, it can have multiple reasons. It's very hard to explain exactly how it sets in.
No, they're not in
These hard pieces of now unmelted sugar
Let Elke pass.
will start to grow in your sugar piece and then will ruin the whole batch. These are basically unedible.
It's irreversible, so we'll unfortunately have to throw this out, but no worries. New red is already on its way.
We had to switch to plan B, and that's making a little bit of extra candy. And
So this kitty cat will be saved, but the red,
this part,
right here you can see. So it's like, it really turned into the crystals again.
so if your candy looks like this, it's what we consider ruined. The flavor would be still correct, but your mouthfeel and your teeth won't really like.
Oh, okay. So And that's our new batch of red.
Our Plan B red. So we only need a tiny amount, but this is actually really necessary for the batch. So the color was added in the pot since we only need one color and extra. And then now it's just waiting for the right texture, consistency and temperature. But since this is a very small batch or little piece, we won't need to wait very long. In the meanwhile, we're still taking care of the pieces we already had. So we already have 2 parts for the outside layer. That's a very dark green, hard to see on camera, and a black. And we have our rolling kitty cat that is kept in shape by Elke.
You can see the difference between a crystallized piece of red and a good piece of red. So the crystallization had it already turned a bit paler.
It's hard to tell on camera, but it actually has a matte finish to it. It actually looks a little bit dusty. It's in some spots. So yeah, that's what can happen to sugar. It's as we would say, it's almost a living material.
And it does what it wants to do.
Yes, in that way it has a lot in common with
My 4-year-old son.
cats, I was about to say. But cats, 4-year-old sons, sugar, they all behave in a similar way. So again, we need multiple stripes on the outside, and that's achieved by making one set of stripes and then stretching and cutting them into pieces. So basically copying and pasting them together. And by pasting them, we actually do this with our wet or damp sponge. And that's just a sponge with water on it. That will stick the sugar parts together. Join those two together.
There we go. Now let's see how the design came through.
So to get a starting point to start pulling this log of candy into smaller rods, we need a piece where we can start off with, and that's achieved by making this crease or indentation. Now we let gravity do its work, and so we have a baseball bat shaped piece, and that will give us a way of chopping the candy eventually.
Whoops. Oh, that's nice. That's nice.
So that piece could be retrieved to make some lollipops out of it. First we're gonna make some candy. So when the candy roll is in the batch roller, it's kept warm and round by this machine. Kim still needs to work all his muscles to pull the rods out of the machine, and Elke is chopping them into more handleable, manable sizes.
Shoppable sizes. Came out nearly perfect, in my opinion.
I'll show you a close-up right away, if that's possible. But you can see from here on already, it actually looks like a very curious cat. So look at that, a cat. So every now and a while, once in a while, we also have a little disformed piece of candy, and sometimes you get a really funny look of it.
It's a cat holding in the sneeze.